Let's get it. The new movement, DJ Drewski. I'm here, of course. Our special guest, Monteasy. Teasy is pulled up.
Teasy in the building, you hear me?
On a different side of the seat, because usually you see him doing his Teasy talks where you're interviewing other people.
Yes, sir.
Today, we got to talk about what you have going on because you're A&R, you're an artist, you tapped in with AEW Wrestling. I want to know more about that because the last time we met, you were up here with Swerve.
Yes, sir.
And Prince Nana.
Yep, yes, sir.
Now, were you rocking with them on the music side, on the wrestling side, or just overall, yo, those are my guys? Like
overall, those are my guys. So me and Swerve started a podcast together in 2017 called Swerve City Podcast. So I'm essentially his mentor in music. So I brought him up in the music industry. When we roll together, we roll as a team. So he's like, yo, I'm coming up to, do an interview with Drewski. You want to pull up? You're going to be in New York. So I'm like, yeah, I was going to be at the show anyway. So at the AEW show anyway. So I just came and, supported my brother when you did the interview with Prince and him. So I was like, yeah, let's go show love. So I just went to support my brother during his movement. Great to meet you. Enough, and a lot of the great guys up there too. So that's why I was rolling up there.
When you see someone like Swerve, gaining this success, right? And then not just as a wrestler, but coming to Hot 97 as an artist and playing his music, and he credits you for kind of mentoring him. Is there pride in that? Like,
it's a great pride because I take pride in being a student and a coach at the same time.
Right.
A lot of times, like I always love the way Lil Wayne brought up Drake in the industry. You know what I mean? Brought him in and didn't block his blessings. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let him shine. Let him be his own artist and his own man. And it's a sense of pride, too, to see that it's working for my brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a sense of pride to say, all right, I gave him the right ropes, to get in this industry and what to do and who to talk to, who to meet. And also for him to spread his wings and say, yo, bro, Monteasy don't have to be attached to everything you're doing. You a star, bro. You on TV every week. You good. You're going to be all right. So it's good to see that. But it's also good to know that investment is paying off too, seeing how successful he's been.
How often is he recording now with, the whole AEW, him kind of running things up there? Does he have time to do music? Or
Yeah. I mean, he's always in the studio. We're always sending each other music and stuff we got going on. If we're not in there together, about 90% of the time, I'm in the studio when he's recording.
Wow. So even with all the wrestling, the matches, you guys on the road, you still find time to sit down and like, yo, let's make some music.
Yeah. So we go to our main studio. If he's not on the road or I'm not on the road, where we live at, for me, my studio is 30 minutes. But for him, it's an hour and a half drive just to go to the studio.
Dang.
So he'll book a session. We go together and we just knock stuff out together.
Right.
That's it. That's the brother camaraderie that we do. And that's how we work.
At this point, how many records do you think you have together? Like, have you recorded a bunch? Like, crazy amount?
We have 3 albums together. And if you include the features, it's probably about 150, 200.
Damn.
Somewhere in there.
It's cooking up.
150, about 200 with us together. Yeah. Or anything with our voices on
Right. Like you two on the same.
In the 3-4 year period that he's been rapping, yeah, about 200, 150, 200, somewhere in there.
When you go back and listen to records from 4 years ago, for both of you, do you hear the growth in just the music you're making? Like, damn, yo, this is how you sound when you first started, or how, I'm sure you've been doing it longer than that, but just hearing like these records now, 4 years later, how well produced.
Man, Drewski, let me tell you something, man. So, obviously, you brought it up that I make music for wrestlers. You have to be a different artist doing that. You have to have a different projection. Your songwriting cadence got to be different.
Right.
Because you're trying to get a reaction from the people. You can't get on regular records doing that sometimes.
Of course, right.
You got to switch it up. So when we first started, I always laugh, always make him laugh. It was like I was theme song Teasy at the beginning. I was still rapping.
You were focused on...
I was still projecting and rapping on regular songs like that.
Right.
And he was still just trying to figure it out, how he wanted to sound, what his sound was when we first started. So it's weird now going back to listen. Now we're both kind of polished in a way. And
of course.
I know how to, when I'm doing a theme song, I know when to switch it. But listening to the old stuff, it's like, wow, we grew, man. We grew a lot. Right. And the music, every album you hear, it just got better.
Better. And
we knew how to trim the fat. We knew how to cut the fat. We knew what songs worked. okay, we don't need 18 songs for this next one. Let's just do 11.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and just trim that other 6. We can just give those away.
Because
you know
when you're first making it, you're so hyped to have all these records and you want, put everything out and own everything yourself but then you start realizing, we don't need all this,
Nah, you don't. And it's good to see because as a mentor too, it's also good to see an artist rise like that, but also know that there's really no limit for him in what he's doing. There's no limit for him and where he's going with his ceiling. And for me, I get my blessings and my own thing as well. So
right.
I look at it. I always told him. I said we're like Outkast. You know what I mean? He's Andre. I'm Big Boy. That's how I always look. I always tell him that. You know what I mean? You
right,
Andre.
Right.
You the star guy. You the one. You know what I mean? You the mythical guy, and I'm Big Boy, the fun loving dude. You know what I mean? You'll see on the Instagram with his kids and all. That's just how that's our dynamic. That's our dynamic.
Yeah. Speaking of features, Jim Jones walked out Swerve, right? Was it Swerve he walked out the last time in New York?
Yes.
How did that come together? Was that something like your idea? Like, yo, we should bring a rapper or?
No. I want to give a shout out to homegirl Tavia. She has a great connection with Jim, and she set that up. You know what I mean? She set that up for Jim to do that. So when he came out, I was like, yo, this is a good look, bro. You should definitely. I always said this, like for AEW or wrestling in general, which WWE does a good job of it now too. They need to have more people of the culture involved and find a way to get them involved. Wrestling fans a lot of times they only care about who's in the ring.
What I was gonna say is you have the fans who don't care about nothing else but those wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Their favorite wrestler. Whoever's a part of that team, whether it's WWE, AEW. Do you feel like there's a cooler way to introduce the culture into it?
I always say this about wrestling fans. You got to give them what they don't want sometimes. Because there's no way AEW or WWE is going to grow if you don't get these people involved or get these people to go show love. See, people outside of wrestling, that's a big deal. You get a Jim Jones, you get a Rick Ross, you get a Travis Scott.
Right.
You get these guys to pull up. In wrestling, they're like, I just want to see John Cena. And you have to just say, look, in business, awareness has to expand. So you got to get more people involved in it.
Right.
And you got to tell them to think just outside of the box, because if we're just going to see John Cena versus Randy Orton every single week, and this is a publicly traded company, it's not going to grow. You got to get people involved. You got to get celebrities coming in to walk people out, show love, introduce them. It's a great cosign that's needed to build the company.
And I feel like they're doing it now, and you see it working. Like a lot of times, artists come to one of these wrestling events, and that's like the headline of the show, right? It's like, yo, this person was here, or this person walked, So I feel like they're slowly transitioning and understanding it, because even WWE early on, that whole MTV culture, they tapped in pretty early with the Cyndi Laupers of the world, and you've seen them do that old school WWE with WWF at that time,
right?
But now it's just like there's been a shift in what's moving the culture, and it's hip hop music, and it's these hip hop artists and guys like yourself who are making the music that's transcending. But then you got the owners that might not listen to hip hop, so they don't get it, or
it's a fine line, and you're 100% correct in what you're saying. You see it from not having to be backstage every day. You're gonna see it,
right?
You know what I mean? It's a battle. It's a balance, and it's being able to figure out, okay, how can we make this work to where we can get people of pop culture, but also give the fans what they want, which is ultimately they came to see wrestling.
Right.
So if you could balance it out and have them understand, look, there's a reason why Jim Jones is pulling up. The reason why Rick Ross is showing up. Reason why Kevin Gates is showing up. Travis Scott, Lil Yachty. There's a reason they're showing up, and there's an important balance that needs to be had. I see, a lot of wrestling fans say, "Oh, why they bringing so many rappers?" You guys got to see outside, of what everybody
outside
else
of wrestling,
sees. Right? Outside of wrestling, and what everybody else sees. It's not just what they see. You got to. There's a million people watching this every week that are casual wrestling fans that say, "Oh my God, Travis Scott just showed up." Then the wrestling core fans are like, "Oh, Travis Scott, oh, who's this?" So you gotta balance that out. But I think it's needed and necessary.
Yeah. And I feel like guys like yourself are the ones pushing it backstage, right? Or am I wrong? Do you feel like when you are back there and you're bumping into certain executives, are you sort of suggesting these type of
As a guy who makes music for these companies,
right?
particularly AEW, but has for every wrestling company I've made music for, my job now, being in so long, is trying to push that.
Okay,
Is trying to talk to these companies about, hey, you need to do this.
right.
Hey, I think this would be a good idea if you do this. Hey, it might, or if I don't talk to Swerve, I'll talk to somebody else, other wrestlers, trying to help them in doing things outside of just wrestling
Right.
and music related that can help them with their brands and things. Say, okay, bro, I suggest you do this platform, or I suggest you do this. And especially in relation to music, how it could help, because everybody can relate to music. So if you do interviews with these platforms, or if you show up to these platforms, and you sometimes you got to go outside and outsource
Right.
the wrestling business and what they say, because they might not get it, but the wrestlers get it.
They get it.
They get it.
Listen, I'm watching it change slowly, and I'm like, I'm loving it, And then when guys like yourself who make the music, who are part of that culture, able to bridge the gap, like you can already see where it's going, for the future. So thank you for doing that on the culture side and bringing it to different worlds like the wrestling world.
Absolutely.
But as an artist, you have a record out right now with probably one of the most popping independent artists, LaRussell.
Yes, sir.
Who, like, rappers love LaRussell, right? Like, it's hard to have artists that love another artist, but he's one of those guys that artists, like, you bring up his name and they respect it, and his hustle and just his grind and the way he marketed himself sort of differently than a lot of artists. You were able to lock in and get a feature with LaRussell at a time where I wouldn't say he's at his peak, but he's hot right now.
He's hot.
How did that happen? How does TZ lock in with someone like LaRussell?
I've been very blessed, man, that, I like to walk off faith musically, bro. I like to just say, you know what? Let me just reach out and see what happens. You know what I mean? Shout out to his whole company, Good Penny. Shout out to the whole team he got over there. I sent the record, and I just said, let's see if he responds, and he'll do it. Let's just see.
Right.
So
I got nothing to lose.
I didn't hear anything for like 2-3 months. You know how the game goes. You send something to somebody.
Right.
I didn't speak to them beforehand. I just sent it to them.
Like through DM type?
Through email.
Oh, email.
I sent the request, hit him up. I said, this is the beat. This is the song. I didn't have my part yet. He just had.
Oh, wow. So you just sent them.
I sent him a blank beat and just had him do his part, and I worked around him. So one day randomly, I get the email, hey,
we're interested.
LaRussell Monteasy, I just see a file that says LaRussell Monteasy verse with the files. I'm like, oh, he did it.
Wow.
He did it. And I was like, yo, man, that is fire for him to give me that look. You know what I mean? And just with how presentable and how great the business was, top notch. Top notch. Those are good people over there at Good Penny. Great people. So to get that blessing with where he's at right now, and for another independent artist, and you know how it goes, when you get, the higher you get in the game, the more requests you get, you probably turn down a lot. Stuff you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's at that point where I feel like a lot of people are reaching out.
He says he turns down hundreds of thousands a day.
Damn.
He says he gets a bunch of requests. He just turns them down. He's like, nah, I ain't feeling it.
Right.
I ain't feeling it. But he chose me.
The fact that they decided to do it just off of a beat is pretty ill too. Because, unless they did their research to hear other records you've done, but it's like, you just get on a beat. You don't know how TZ's going to come, behind that.
Right.
Pause.
Right.
But, like that, just that, did you produce the beat or that's someone you work with?
Kofi Cooks made it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kofi.
My man Kofi Cooks made that. He's a popular producer. Me and him have worked on a lot of different stuff.
Got it.
My first couple projects, but he's dope. Shout out to him too, because he does great business as well. All you artists out there, Kofi Cooks, look him up. Great
Shout out to Kofi.
So when I heard that beat, I'm like, you know what, man, I need something, because I like to challenge myself. It's like, you will know this being in the game and being who you are. Sometimes when you're a rapper or a lyricist, you kind of get stuck in that.
That world, yeah.
And I'm like, I need a bop. I need one.
Right.
So I sat back. I'm like, man, I need a bop. Man. I need one. So I was listening to beats and I heard that one. I'm like, that's the beat. And when I sent it to him, like I said, it was a blank thing. I didn't even have the concept yet. I didn't know I
That's
needed
what
a
I'm
bop.
saying. Like you just said,
I just needed a bop. I know I needed one.
when you heard the beat though, you heard LaRussell on it already. Like, yo, I gotta send it. Because I was gonna ask, did you send it to other people?
No.
And so this was like, yo, perfect for him.
I heard like it sounded like a West Coast joint, and I'm like, I think LaRussell sound dope on this. And I just sent the offer and sent it off.
Yeah,
that's it, bro.
Fire.
That's it. And I was like, I think he would like this because it's. I listened to a lot of his music, and I think this is his wave.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Just the A&R in me clicked.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. That's where you win is having the ear as well.
Having the ear. I'm like, I was like, man, that's not the beat. That's not the beat. That's the beat.
Mm-hmm.
So Kofi sent me. Got a pack of Kofi. I was like, this is the one. Now I sent it to him, and the rest is history, man.
That's dope.
Yes.
And not only did he do the record, but there's a video that's been shot already.
Yeah, there's a video that's been shot. There is a official dance video with me and a bunch of dancers.
Okay.
Like break dancers and stuff that's going to be put out soon. And then I will be where it talks right now for me to go out to LA to get a version with him.
Him in it.
Yep.
That's fire, man.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Does that spark a new energy in you where it's like, all right, now I gotta just cook up, like just cook up more? And is there a project coming? Like,
yes.
So this is part of the lead up to a project.
Yes, this is a part of the lead up to a project called It Is What It Is, coming out June 23rd on my birthday. I always try to release EPs or albums on my birthday. So each year I try to release something on June 23rd, which is the day I was born. So this will be an EP, 5-track EP. I got reach out to my man Smoke Dizzler. He's gonna be on there. I got MVMT Soulchild on there.
Crazy.
MVMT Soulchild. I got him. I got a joint. Me and Mickey Fax got a crazy joint. Back and forth. Me and my man John Connor. We're working on a new album, but he's on there too. John Connor's on there as well. So yeah, man, I got some heavy hitters on this, man. I just hit up Smoke. Smoke's like, yeah, I got you, bro. Just send me the record. So Smoke is really the last feature I got to get. But yeah, I got some heavy hitters, man.
You working, Teasy.
I'm working, bro.
Shout out to Mickey Fax too. I seen a clip of like a cypher series, like some cypher series, and he was like going crazy on it.
He's nuts, man.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, he's going crazy.
So I'll tell you a funny story about Mickey. So me, him, and Swerve worked on the record. We shot a music video for a song called All Right on our second album, GPS, like 2021. So Mickey came down. So me, Swerve, and him are doing the video. And I'm like, so I text him. I said, bro, I tried to get you on this record. I tried to get you. He laughs. He's like, nah. just the way, I was like, because that dude is so dope. And like, I tried to just keep up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he is so fire.
Nah, he's fire,
he
bro.
He is so fire. And shout out to his school, his Pendulum School, everything he's doing, like teaching hip hop and writing. I was like, man, that guy's dope. But he came in and did the video. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but It Is What It Is project really is gonna be a cultivation of everything that I've put in and all the relationships I've built. Like MVMT Soulchild don't do music with many people.
Yeah, I was like, he
don't do music with many people. So for him to take a liking to me and just vibe with me and say, I'm gonna do this for you.
It's crazy.
It's great. We he has an alter personality that he raps under called The Hustle. It's a rap personality that he raps under.
Got it. Is that who we're getting on the record?
No, I'm getting music.
Okay.
I have records with both. I have records with both, but it's great because it is a building block to be able to work with a legend like him and to see his work process in the studio and how music works, and then seeing how watching how a LaRussell works, or being in the studio with a Mickey Fax and see how they work.
Right.
You learn so much. You know what I mean? You learn so much, but you also get an opportunity to appreciate it, because I always say I have like an underrated type, I don't want to say fame, but success. Right. Like if you talk to me, like, damn, TC done a damn lot. But,
yeah, that's why I think it's important for you to do interviews and be able to, because there's a lot of things I probably don't know that you've done, and you're such like a cool, laid back dude, and it doesn't come off like bragging, but you got to talk your shit, like you know what I'm saying. Remind people like that, or not even remind people. inform people of
Yeah.
what Teasy's done in the music game.
Right, and that's the reason why I really wanted to come up to these platforms and meet with you and meet with others, because you got to bring the awareness to these things. Sometimes you can be putting up stats, but if nobody has a connection or know about it, then it's like, oh no, he's not just this person, or that's not Swerve's man. Or
Exactly.
That's not
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is pretty.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's accomplished. You know what I mean? So that is also a great thing too. And I always tell artists this too. Is like the importance of just investing in your career, investing in what you want to do, and knowing the right people, making the right connections, knowing when to pop out, knowing when to do interviews, knowing when to be in the studio cooking up, because it all matters.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It all matters.
And you've seen it on all ends. And in our end, working with different artists, being an artist yourself, you start seeing like, okay, this is the right way to approach things. This is the right way to work in this business. On top of the music and the podcast and just the content you're delivering. What's up with this hoodie? What's this merch that's coming out?
Man, so everybody, if you go to teasystable.com, right? This is my official More to Life Visions, my motivational speaking brand. If you guys go to More to Life Visions on my website, teasystable.com, that's one branch. So you got More to Life Visions, which is my motivational speaking branch. You got Teasy's Table.
Teasy's Table. That's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
Okay.
I just put out my official Stomp Out merch, Monteasy Stomp Out of the new single. If you go to the website, teasystable.com, you can get that right now.
Boom.
You know what I mean? And then I have my limited edition theme song King t-shirts. That was like my very first shirts I had 8 years ago when I started in the wrestling business. 8 years ago, it's like limited edition. You can get those. I sell those maybe once or twice a year, and I sell them at a cheaper price too, because they're like my
and they're more like collectibles almost.
Yeah,
right?
like collectibles. So I sell those as well. So I got a gift for you.
Of course. Let's go. Shout out to Warren Went in the building.
Shout out to Warren Went. That is the
dropping
official
off the
More to Life visual. I know every time I see you on your gram or when you're moving, you love hoodies.
Hoodies, yeah, I'm a hoodie guy.
I pay attention, brother.
Thank you.
So I got you an official hoodie. It's the one I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The More to Life Visions hoodie. You know what I mean? Thank you for your support.
Of course, man. Nah, I think it's important for people like yourself who work so hard and accomplish so much to sometimes come and just, let people know. Did you wrestle at one point too?
No, but
because I always see you in the gym as if you're getting ready for a match.
Like, I'm getting back right too.
Okay.
So I've had tons of offers because I've done matches where I've come out and managed Swerve, be his manager. Right. Before he got signed to AEW, I've done tons of performances for wrestlers walking to the ring. But they always was like, yo, man, you want to do something? I've done like small things behind the camera, but I've never gotten in the ring.
Like a one-on-one.
People was like, yo, man, why don't you take a chair shot or go through a table? Right. I considered going through a table one time just to see what it was like. I considered it just to try it, but I was like, nah, I ain't going to do it.
Fuck that.
I ain't going to do it. Because I'll mess around and not fall right. Yeah. I'll mess around and not take the chair shot right. You know what I mean? But nah. But I've definitely gotten offers to do a small thing or two in the ring.
Got you.
I've done one thing where I pushed the wrestler down or something. But nothing too physical, no.
Because you have the personality and sort of like the physique of a wrestler in a sense, right? Not the buff, know, but the personality alone could win. Right, in those type of entertainment programs. I
always get offers, and it's something that just, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want it to look bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was like, I did do stuff like, I performed, I made a song for the wrestler Roman Reigns in 2014.
Wow.
Right? And so I ended up performing the song in front of his family. His pops, rest in peace, recently passed away.
Oh, wow.
Roman Reigns' pops passed away, and his uncle. So I got a chance to perform the song that I made for him in front of his father in Alabama at a wrestling promotion they were doing. So it's for his mom, his pops. I mean, everybody was there.
Right.
So during that time, we got in the ring. And not with him, but it was like a wrestler in the ring. Shout out to Chris, too. You was a great dude doing this. So it was supposed to be a segment, and they in there talking about how there's this rapper here tonight, and then I'll get in the ring, and they throwing shots at me. You know what I mean? Or who are you and what are you doing here?
Right.
What you going to freestyle and all that? So then he says, he whispers to me, he says, push me. So I just push him. And you know what I mean? It was just a good segment in the ring. You know what I mean? It's so I've never gotten into anything crazy like that, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, it has to be fun too to just do things like that. Like
when we go see Drewski or something,
right.
man. When we go see,
we might have to get a one-on-one match going on, man.
Hey, look, I can't jump and kick right now, but I can tell you one thing. I can help you.
Oh, you want to be like my tag team partner?
I'll manage you.
That works.
You be the star. I'll be the Prince Nana.
It sounds good. TZ, Drewski, it could work.
You know, it can make work, man. You got to just pick who you're going to
I just got to get in the gym.
Now listen. Now, I got a difficult thing for you. All these connections you got in the industry.
Right.
Who making your song? You
got to make the song.
I got to make it.
You can't be my manager and be an artist and not make my theme song. Okay, this is a real question.
Okay.
I'm not a real wrestler, but if I was and I came to you and said, yo, I need a theme song, how do you come up with, like, what's the start? Do you look at my matches? Do you look at my character? How does it work when making these songs?
So, great question. So, for any artist that especially wants to get into this, and I have no problem giving game, it's just about figuring out the concept of who they are. What do they want? Because a lot of times they can all say, oh, I just want you to say by my finishing move,
right,
this and that. But if you really want to make a great record, a lot of times you got to just look at their Instagram, watch their matches, watch their interviews, watch them. The more that you know about them, the better it is. You know what I mean? When it comes to making these theme songs. Because if they just give you like a blank template,
that's what I'm saying.
You can go in there and you can just make anything.
So if they're like a villain character, it's a more darker song.
It's a more darker song. The production's going to be darker. The concept's going to be darker. And you also, too, it's kind of like the industry on regular records. You can't make it too long either. You can't make it too long. It has to be
You're saying
2 minutes.
For the walkout.
For the walkout. The build up to the song.
Does the intro have to be big? Because I feel like a lot of times with wrestling, the first second is a big intro.
And that's
if it's a glass breaking, if it's
every interview I do, I always say that first 5 seconds has to catch.
Got it.
Because if it doesn't,
that's the most important.
Because you can watch wrestling every week, and you can see when the songs isn't hitting because there's no response from the people.
Right.
It's indifference. There's no cheering. There's no booing. It's just indifference.
Right.
And a lot of times, it's not just that fact that people might not see the character. It's the song that's not catching. Sometimes you can not be good, but the song's hitting.
You got a fire intro.
So you're going to stay on TV because the song's hitting.
They're singing along. They're chanting along.
Yeah. So a lot of times I tell people when you do this, don't make stuff that you want to hear. When you make music for yourself, maybe you can be more selfish.
Right.
But when they come to them people in wrestling, that first 5-10 seconds, that guitar riff or that drum beat or whatever's got to hit immediately.
Boom.
Yeah, it has to hit. Those first 5-10 seconds will say everything about the song.
Listen, you producers that want to produce for wrestling entertainment, take some notes. This guy's been doing it. He clearly told you some of the artists or wrestlers he's worked with making theme songs. TZ Table's out. New record with LaRussell's out. The merch is out. One more time, what's the website?
TZstable.com. www.TZstable.com. And get all your merch, everything music, everything that's going on, motivational content, and hit me up. And if you guys want to get on TZ's Table, hit me up, but just make sure it makes sense, yo.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure for him, it has to make sense.
Of course,
So please, make sure it makes sense.
Yo, listen, anything else that we missed? Any matches coming to New York soon that you'll be walking out or a part of?
Man, what I'm trying to do.
Okay, break it down.
I'm trying to get all my family and wonderful people next time they're in New York to come backstage, and yourself and a lot of other people that I rock with in the game,
right? Just
to come back and get the experience of being at a show, get some ringside seats,
right? Enjoy
the show. You know what I mean? In front row,
give it, that experience.
I would love for y'all to just experience that and have that experience, meet some of the wrestlers. You know what I mean? And just build that relationship, which is important. I really want to blend this
Nah,
as much as I can.
you're doing it already, like without you
Absolutely.
even noticing, or even though you do probably notice, but you're already doing it, right?
Right.
To do an interview to talk about your music, and then everyone shifts to wrestling when they see you, you're already doing it, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yes, sir. So
shout out to you for doing that.
thank you.
And yes, I'll take you up on that offer.
Absolutely. We'll set it up.
Yo, my guy, Teasy in the building, DJ Drewski, the new movement, heavy hitters, Shade 45. Let's go.
You hear me?